Welcome back to Nerds R Us, a show where we talk about anything and everything nerdy, and today we're talking about the movie that's on everybody's mind, Black Panther. Ike, you went saw Black Panther. What'd you think?
Overall, actually, I thought it was a really good movie. Good character development, really good, like even villain character development and stuff was excellent. I feel like they did a good job collaborating everything all together and making good action, but still having a good storyline without too much of any one thing, not enough of another. What about
So
you?
was the villain your favorite character, Michael B. Jordan, or was the main guy, the main Black Panther, T'Challa, your favorite character of the whole story?
Dude, I don't know, man. T'Challa is a cool character and stuff, but I would have to say personally more relatable to Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan's character. Plus, I've always liked Michael B. Jordan as an actor. He's always killed it.
Dude, he's good. I mean, he was like even good in like Fantastic Four, which was an abomination of a movie.
Yeah,
That was a shit show. But what about the other characters? The sister, I thought the sister was good. She was good in both like a comedic role and like an action role. I thought the warrior chick, I can't remember her name off the top of my head for some reason, but she was clearly a badass, knocking down some motherfuckers, laying down motherfuckers with a spear, obviously, and then pretty much everybody from Wakanda was like ready to throw the fuck down.
Yeah, it seemed like they were a well-rounded tribe of, action and stuff. It was funny to think that they were pushing the idea of more defense-related and keeping themselves closed off from the outside world and whatnot.
I know, because it definitely seemed like the idea that Michael B. Jordan's character Killmonger was going for in the movie, where he's like, we could just fuck everybody else. They're like, no, we're all about defense. We're really always training to fight people. And I was like, well, if you're really all about defense, then why are you always training to kill people?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They definitely did a good job at keeping themselves pretty secluded and protected and stuff. I mean, minus a couple instances where stuff got leaked and whatnot. But that was like T'Chaka's brother, Njobu, the uncle that he ended up dying.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, then what are you doing with your life? Like, fuck spoiler alert, watch the movie, or don't listen to the podcast. Boom, problem solved.
We gave you a fucking week, get over it. But yeah, like I agree with his outlook on melding into the world and becoming one people helping other people.
You mean T'Challa's like view with becoming like one person, or Michael B. Jordan's? Because his view was like, yeah, that's all become one nation by completely wrecking everybody else and ruling everybody else.
Well, that's the thing, is like Njobu was his father, was the brother of T'Chaka, who was T'Challa's father, the king at the time, who killed his brother. And so I agree with like Njobu's outlook on things or whatever, helping the people out and stuff. And then even T'Challa's love interest in the movie, can't recall her name off the top of my head either, but she had the same or a similar, very similar outlook, helping wherever she could and whatnot with other people in need and stuff. And I've always kind of agreed with that, if you have all of your ducks in line or whatever being, available for other people. Like me personally, I don't have all my ducks in order, but I mean, I still always try to help people out and do what I can for people and just be like a good, person of the world, a good human being to other human beings, you know what I mean? So
do you think it's going to be a good move as far as the Marvel Universe for Wakanda to like kind of make themselves open to the rest of the world? Because at the same time, they're going to open themselves up for attack, and I don't know if that's going to be the center of the situation in probably Black Panther 2. And they might touch on it in Infinity War, I don't know. But I think that might cause some issues for them as like a country, which like is kind of like a topical situation we're running into all the time, at least here in America, and I'm sure in other countries, where it's like, do you want to open up your borders? Do you want to let people in? Do you want to let people out? I mean, you don't want to go too extreme one way, but you also don't want to go too extreme the other way type situation.
Yeah, and that's where it's like that's where it seemed like those characters that I was mentioning before were more along the lines of, hey, we got all of our shit straight, we got all of this worked out to where we're in a good standing, to where we can give of our excess, we can give of what we built up extra, and help a bunch of people. Whereas, like, you know, with the United States, let's say, we don't have any of our shit in order. Nothing is in order. Our government is, like, in my opinion, this is going to kind of go off topic, but I'm going to try to keep it on here. But personally, I think, you know, our government's fucked by greed and just shitty people. People always just looking to line their own back pockets, and it's bullshit. I mean, whereas Wakanda, you know, they weren't greedy about anything. They had all of their stuff in line. They were well defended, well guarded. Everybody got along, like, civilly. It was all under, you know, a solid rule. They had the council, the wise council still, all the council members, and, you know, their overall, you know, A or naysayer, the king, you know, to really kind of finalize that judgment and stuff. But it was like the king had a good group of people who were good to each other and for each other to help him make decisions that were good to each other and for each other. Whereas, you know, our country is not nearly as in line with those ideals at the moment. They're like, oh, how can I steal from this person to pad my own back pocket? Oh, look at this new idea that this person made up. Let's fuck that up.
Let's bring it back to the movie real quick. Out of, like, all the side characters, who was your favorite side character? Either, you know, bad or good, whatever. I mean, obviously, I love the guy who worked for the CIA. I love that guy. I loved him in Sherlock. I loved him in The Hobbit. I loved him in everything he's ever been in. But I gotta say, my favorite side character, had too many beers. My favorite side character is definitely Claw.
Really?
I was kind of bummed when he died because I was like, this guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he was funny as shit. He's definitely a dickhead. He's one of those characters that you love to hate for sure. For me, at least, I would have to say my favorite character, side character-wise, would probably be Baku, the gorilla dude, just because
he's like a fucking beast of a man. You're like a beast of a man.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, that's what's up. But then he also had, like, good moralistic outlook on stuff. He's like, you saved my life, you know, it's only fair. And then, you know, he was like trying to be a, you know, he was struggling with his pride when T'Challa asked for help with the army.
Mm-hmm.
He was struggling with his pride, but in the end, he came through clutch and
came through clutch with that weird ass weapon. I don't know if anybody wants to message in and tell me what weapon that was he was using, but it looked like a really long pipe that he was beating ass with.
It's a giant stick, which looked like it had a monkey's hand on the end of it, holding a ball, like a spear tip on the bottom of it. I really paid attention to his weapon too, because I was like, dude, he's just fucking people's, like, he's batting them into, like, next year. I was just like, dude.
Okay, so plot-wise, what did you think plot-wise? Did you think the plot was predictable? Did you think it was really... I mean, I thought it was really good, but as soon as I saw Michael B. Jordan, at least as an adult, I was like, it's going to be the Uncle Son. It was very obvious who his character was in relation to the story.
Yeah, there was a lot of predictable pieces of the story. I feel like, at least, trying to make it too unpredictable could distract from the storyline itself, though, sometimes. So I feel like Marvel's always done really good about this, in my opinion, for the most part, is, you know, kind of keeping with some stuff that is predictable, but making other sideline situations more unpredictable. Like, I definitely, you know, end of the movie, spoiler alert for sure here, but, like, I definitely did not see Killmonger necessarily dying in the end. I figured they would, you know, reconcile and maybe be able to pull him back over for at least some good stuff. It's kind of like a Bucky Barnes situation, where he's like, yeah, bad, but, you know, not by choice, just by, you know, the way that work, circumstantial, you know, situations and stuff pushing him towards that. But
Yeah. Well, I liked a lot when when he died, and then but right before he died, I was like, we could probably still save you. Like, we have the technology, we can rebuild him, type situation. We can make you the $6 million mom, But he was like, I know, like my ancestors knew it's better to like die than like live in chains, and I was like, oh, that's like was pretty profound for a Marvel movie. That was pretty deep, getting deep in here. And, I know it was kind of touch on, like, the idea of the movie being, like, full of, characters who are African American or black or whatever you want to say, which is, I think, was awesome. I thought it was a great movie regardless or whatever, but I was like, that's pretty, like, regardless of what race you are, that's something everybody can agree with.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of where I'll touch on this topic. Like, I definitely felt before the movie came out, just with the hype around it and stuff, I definitely felt like it was going to be more race baity than it was.
It was not, but I didn't get a race bait vibe at all. I was like, oh, they just wanted to make a sick superhero movie that everybody could enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many posts coming from both sides of, like, super weird white people who were like, oh, I see, just trying to make a black superhero movie, why it's got to be all black people and shit like that. And then the complete other side where, people, white people in their early 20s were like, hey, can you guys tell me when I should go to the movies so I don't ruin Black Panther for you with my white privilege? It's like, why can't you just go watch the movie whenever the fuck you want because you like superhero movies, because you like Black Panther, and you're hoping you'll see a sick Marvel cutscene, you're hoping you'll see maybe some like cameos. You could just enjoy it because it's a superhero movie and you like superhero movies.
Yeah.
Guess what? When I showed up, there was not one black person there who was like, whoa, bro. Midnight showing, that's for black people only. Take your white privilege somewhere else. And there was not a single white person there who was like protesting Black Panther because it's an all generally black movie except for one guy or like two guys. Nobody was there pissed or anything like that. It was just some like outlier crazy motherfuckers on the internet raising hell, which is the situation with every situation. But just go watch the movie because you like superhero movies. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like they did it. And that's the other thing is, like, with that kind of prefacing the movie for me and stuff, seeing that stuff online, I was like, I mean, personally, like, I was never raised, like, racially divided. I've had friends of every race and every color, every religion, from every continent, pretty much my entire life, but I've also traveled across the country, like, since I was a child, like, since I was 4 years old, I've been traveling from one side of the country to the other side of the country and back all the time, and that was, like, the biggest thing is, like, I personally never really ran across much racial divide until, my late teens and stuff. I was just like...
It's kind of become a more recent thing I've noticed. I don't remember it happening at all, and, I mean, I don't know if this affects it at all, but I have family members from the South who had black friends that were also from the South and stuff, and it's just like, it's not a divide unless you make it a divide. And I'm sorry, like, just go see the movie because you like those movies. It's as simple as that. There's no reason to make it any more complicated. And I want to set one thing straight right now. Black Panther is not the first black superhero movie. Is everybody in the world forgetting Blade? I've seen a couple memes about it where people are like, bitch, please, Blade? Yeah, Blade. Wesley Snipes fucking killed that shit. 1, 2, 3, it's okay, but still pretty good. He's the first black superhero, so stop making it into a big deal when it's not a big deal. Nobody protested in the 90s when those movies came out. Nobody should be throwing a pissy fit now.
Yeah, I still think Blade is probably, that trilogy was probably one of my favorite ever. Like, I think that whole side of the genre of comics and stuff kind of helped me with my comic book knowledge and, wanting to get more into comics, just because it was badass. I mean, there was crazy good action, there was crazy good character development, plot development, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's like that, and even, Spawn, the guy who played Spawn was black, Michael J. White.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was Bronze Tiger and Arrow. Nobody protested that, maybe because it was just on TV, but it's like, nobody cares. Just enjoy. It's just a movie. Just enjoy the movie. The movie was pretty good about being like, oh, hey, these guys are like in Africa, and like, these guys are African American, and that was a big thing for Michael B. Jordan from like growing up in Oakland and having to see all this violent stuff. They touched on it, but it wasn't like the main theme of the movie. The main theme of the movie was
bringing
Black Panther.
Yeah, and then like coming together as a people and stuff too, like coming together as one people, the human race. Like that was as racial as it got. I feel like it didn't go too crazy with like fucking white people being overpowering. And
yeah, there was nobody invading Wakanda. That was clearly the bad guy. That was white. The Black Panther wasn't all like, we need to unite my brothers. And Michael B. Jordan's character was kind of like that, but they like based it in the fact like, he had never been to Wakanda, but he was clearly Wakandan, and he wanted to get in touch with his roots, but also he'd grown up completely different than all the rest of them. And he wanted to change it so they could see the world the way he saw it, which in a way, I was kind of like, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Maybe not taking over the whole world with your advanced technology is the way to go about it, but I totally understand the point you're trying to make here. I mean, overall, besides any, like, racial issues that outside the movie, I'd give the movie at least a solid 8 to 9 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely one of my more favorite Marvel movies from recent. Just overall, it killed it, in my opinion.
It's been pretty good. And Black Panther and the guy, they could not have cast him better.
Yeah,
the guy who plays T'Challa, he's so good as that character. I can't think of really much else that I've seen him in, but solid casting. When I saw him in Civil War, he was good. When I saw him in the standalone movie, he was good. I'm sure in Infinity War, he's still going to be good. The whole movie was cast really well. His sister was good. His mother was good. All the other Wakandans were good.
Dude, the sister was another one of my favorites.
Dude, she was a badass.
She was dope. I was like, good comic relief, but at the same time, like, good addition to the story.
It wasn't just down.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a comic relief situation. And I was like, that's cool. Kept him grounded, helped keep grounded and stuff.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, it's time for our weekly segment that we do every single week. It's called, what do we call it? Head-to-head, deathmatch, battle royale.
Versus.
All right, Ike, who are you bringing to this death match?
I'm going to throw down Iron Man on this one.
Iron Man. Hit me with a little backstory for those who don't know. Everybody knows, but for those who may not know.
So, Iron Man is one of the most iconic Marvel characters, in my opinion. He's always been front and center on Marvel. I think he was actually kind of the perpetuator for the new Marvel cinematic universe.
He was like the first big Marvel cinematic movie, Iron Man 2008, dude.
Yeah, that just killed the box office and brought about the good Marvel universe.
It left all the X-Men and the Spider-Man from 2000 just back in the dust.
All the Sony movie kind of mediocre.
No, it brought it back for sure. What powers does he bring in? What does he bring in technology-wise?
So genius level intellect, obviously, super strength, durability, supersonic flight, almost unlimited energy, missiles, energy beam repulsor, and then life support.
Okay, then I'm going to bring, in honor of Black Panther power, Shuri, Black Panther's sister. Here's what she's bringing to the table. Clearly trained in martial arts. She takes the freaking Black Panther little plant thing, shoves it in her throat, develops the abilities of Black Panther. You don't see it in the movie, but it definitely does happen. So she gets the enhanced speed, agility, strength, enhanced senses. She's got a vibranium suit, which is one of the strongest metals in the world. Ask Wolverine, he'll know what's up. And then we also have her ability, eventually she gains the ability to transform into a super flexible stone. Her skin is like stone, so she's also invulnerable while also wearing the vibranium suit. And then also she eventually gets the power, I don't really know how useful this is in this case, but to transform into a flock of birds, which is actually pretty cool.
Damn, dude, talk about like vampires and bats and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dope.
Alright, so in my opinion, Tony Stark's got some sick tech, but does he have the martial arts to back it up is the real question. If they go in a head-to-head fight, where it's just them, is he going to be able to, defeat both her martial arts and her advanced technology from being from Wakanda?
that's the thing is like, we were talking about it. We wanted to have like a nerd versus nerd showdown. Nobody was too OP from origin or whatever, and that's where I feel like Jarvis is going to play a huge part in that with studying the fighting style and finding openings and whatever else. Obviously Iron Man doesn't have an invincible suit, so he's going to have to take some damage initially to kind of start breaking down that fighting style and whatnot. But as long as he can keep like a medium range or whatever, he shouldn't have too much problem.
Yeah, see, she lacks in the ability to fly. She doesn't really boosters or anything like that. She's got like quick reflexes and can dodge most things, but it'd be hard for her to get close in. Plus, I would think, she would probably be able to like build some technology though that would mess up Tony Stark's suit, but at the same time you can mess with her vibranium suit, and they could both lose their suits. But then if they both lose their suits, she's still got all the abilities of the Black Panther plant.
True. That's one thing I did not calculate out actually. If they both broke down their suits.
But Iron Man's got the ability to call suits at will and bring that stuff to him at any time. So you got to figure out how many suits he's got in reserve.
Yeah, and how effective they would be, like if she was to, create a dome. If she did like the same thing Black Panther did, going in the vibranium tunnels or whatever, where they had the disruptors and neutralize the vibranium technology temporarily and whatnot. If she did that to where it neutralized them both or whatever, how effective would his suits be at getting in and helping him out? You know what I mean? If it's shutting down his suit, then he's pretty much just a clunky, chunky mess, and nobody's really going to be able to assist him unless they're throwing rocks from above, and she's got super speed and reflexes and stuff. So it's going to be pretty questionable at that point, and I'd feel like overall, even with life support, his abilities are overall lacking in that department where he could come out of that situation unscathed or on top of the.
Okay, so we're giving this one to Shuri. Is that what we're saying?
I personally, I would definitely give it to Shuri overall.
Unless he works on some serious martial arts skills, but for right now, we're calling Shuri the winner of this match, and want to thank you guys for coming to this episode, and feel free to definitely check us out on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Music. We post all our stuff up on Facebook. Like our Facebook page, Nerds R Us. Go to our website, nerdsrus.com. You can download all the episodes from there, listen on the go when you're driving in your car that you don't have to leave the house from, if only that was a real thing. And Instagram, check out our Instagram. It's ran by our sexy co-host, Ike Siemens. If you play your cards right, give enough likes, you might show some nip. You never know. Also, we are now on Patreon, and definitely take in any patronage support you can give us and get access to awesome things like a monthly shout out on our podcast, and also the ability to go ahead and submit ideas and people you want to hear about in the head-to-head for us to bring up an episode. Lots of great things, and we'd always appreciate your support. And if you don't become a patron, we still appreciate your listening. That's pretty much all I got to say about it, so feel free to check us out. Stay nerdy, stay beautiful. We'll talk to you later.
Don't forget to watch Black Panther.